This is going to be a bit of a shorter vid. This request is from, let me just go to my comments here, Carlos Chavez. If you're looking forward to this, well, here it is. I'm going over my two preferred decks that I use in Hero Colosseum. One's a speedy offensive setup, and the other is a defensive, very bulky setup, along with constantly weakening the opponent and buffing my own attack on my side as I laugh at my opponent and they continue to get weaker. Also, there's a lot of healing involved with it. So let me get the boring one out of the way first. So there's really not much to an offensive setup. You just want to include figures that hit hard. If you're like me, you prefer coverage all across the board. You prefer figures that complement each other when on the field together. So a perfect example of that would be Videl and Vegito. Vegito already hits ridiculously hard as is, but with things like attack up ODU and speed up ODU, that makes him that much better. And with Videl there on the field along with him, they can help out each other on the right side. Because Vegito's really squishy, you can do things like put Videl in front of Vegito to make sure that Vegito's fine, and you should more or less annihilate whatever the heck is in front of both of them. So just to quickly go over their figure numbers, 295, the speed UR Videl, and the only UR Videl for that matter, besides the other one, which is crap, don't use that one. Vegito, the speedy version with ridiculously high amounts in attack, and he's going to continue to get stronger. Not just with his trigger square, but with attack up ODU as well. Figure number 120 with Future Trunks. Number EX20, which if you're wondering how to get this, let me just go to the figure list here really quick. Okay, so it's this Gogeta, and you get him from, I want to say, the third UR Goku, Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Let me go look. That's going to be this one here. Good news on that one as well. You can break into him if you get figure 456. And you're going to have to do a lot of grinding and get a lot of dupes to get him 10 out of 10. Which I recommend doing by getting either... Well, actually you're going to need 11 altogether. You're going to need the figure itself and then 10 more on top of that to get the dupes that you need. So 456, which turns into 458. Just get 11 of either or even all together. Before you EX limit break any of them, make sure that you finish duping it out. Otherwise, you're going to have to do that grinding 11 times all together just to get this guy 10 out of 10. You don't want that. You'll be making a lot more work for yourself than you need to be. But the reason I went with this one is because look at his speed stat. It's obnoxious. You don't really need to add on more attack. You're going to be doing that anyway with the first part of his trigger square and attack up ODU. He was the fastest Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta that could be EX limit broken, plus he can get continuously faster as the match goes on. Now, more than likely what's bound to happen is something's either going to happen to him or something is going to happen to Vegito. Here's something I like to do on the first turn. I like to run him in the upper left, along with either Vegito and Videl on the right, or with Champa in the middle and Videl behind Champa. This gives you a lot of flexibility with this setup, and you do have coverage on the bottom left, albeit only with Trunks. But if you're like in the corner, or like you have no way out pretty much, and you need your O1 figure to be alive, that's also why I have this Gogeta. He has a lot of HP, and you can even easier make him survive with the defense boost parts of his trigger square, which is only slightly hindered by the ODU skills, but neither here nor there. He's there to kill units anyway. And obviously you don't want anything to happen to Trunks. And I have him as the O1 figure because look at his trigger square. Plus 1,000 to his attack at speed, and minus 30% to damage taken by your master. Now, it's stacks during that turn only, but that's still really great to have. with O1 skills, and then jump up 178, attack up ODU, speed up ODU, and 80 on buff. That's what I recommend using for a speed deck, and you could even tweak this or change it depending on what you prefer. Heck, there might even be better options. This is what I personally like to go with, though. And then what, in my opinion, is the most broken deck in the entire game, and it's very easy and abusable to use. This is all you need to do with it. Pretty much you're only going to be running Goku, Frieza, and Vados until you need to use your ult, which you're going to be putting Toa down for, and at the same time you're doing that, you're going to put down 18, you're going to lock your opponent in place, heal up your entire team and your master, and it's like none of the damage ever happened at all. Plus, every single one of them has FHP Cure, FHP 50L. You should never ever lose with this deck. It is that busted. I've tested it so many times against so many free battles. I finish every single match with pretty much my entire side at full. It's ridiculous just how good this setup is. I haven't found anything that's been able to beat it, as of yet anyway. Maybe in a future collab with Robo we can figure something out. But for right now, yeah, I'm pretty confident in this deck. You should never lose with it, in terms of versus the AI especially. So, figure number 205, I put all dupes in an HP for good reason, because you're going to be, more often than not, putting him out there in the field alone in the middle column, because you're going to want to keep Frieza safe, who has lower defense, and put him behind Vados. With any of up second, defense up second 2, FHP Cure, FHP 50L. Figure number 151, defense up second, FHP Cure, FHP 50L, and ultimate gauge on every turn. You might be wondering, why am I not using defense up second 2? Well, here's the answer. I'm only going to be putting 18 and Toa down 1 or 2 turns at max. It's usually just 1. That's why I find the defense up second 2 pointless and overall not as beneficial as just defensive second. Plus ultimate gauge on every turn, in case I need it. Really shouldn't, though it all with Frieza, who I'll be getting into next here. With all dupes in attack, figure number 535, all dupes in attack as well, attack of second 2, defense of second 2, FHP Cure, FHP 50L. And the beautiful thing about this is if for whatever reason you're Super Saiyan 4, Goku starts to get low, or he's used his healing character skill here, you can start putting Frieza out to defend him. And the reason why your opponent should never be able to ult you, just look at the ending part of Frieza's trigger square. That's so ridiculously busted and so great to have. And all this crap is repeatable. So when going second, you subtract 15% to their attack and 10% speed to all opponents. You also minus 10% to opponent's ultimate attack gauge at the end of the turn. Now, even if you're going first, you subtract 10% to their defense and minus 50% to all their speed, to every opponent on the field, and then minus 5% to opponent's ultimate attack gauge. Ideally, you should be trying to go second. That's the better, in my opinion, and more abusable part of the trigger square. And he decreases 2 of the more important offensive stats that the enemy's going to have, being, of course, attack and speed. Now, if it were just attack and defense, it could be better, honestly, I don't know. But even then, you're not really trying to go first with an O1 user. So it doesn't really matter. Plus, he's going to be stacking on ridiculous amounts of attack and defense as the match goes on. And again, as that's happening, Goku's probably going to get a bit of decent damage done to him. Just put Frieza out there in front of him. Problem solved. And if anything happens to either of them, that's what Toa here is for. Figure number 350 with all dupes into attack. Now, I could have put everything into her HP, but she has more than enough HP in my opinion. Plus, I want her to at least deal some damage. Even though I'm only putting her on the field for basically 1 turn. But if I need to put her there for more than 1 turn, that's why I have the dupes there. Plus, there are times where I'm not even trying to ult with her. I'm just trying to have her fuck with my opponent and attack with her there. But anyway, defense up second, FHP Cure, HP 50L, and ultimate gauge on every turn. Now, if you want, you can actually put all of her dupes in HP. That might or might not be more ideal for you. It really shouldn't matter, though. You're not going to take any damage at all by the time she gets on the field. And then Vanos, figure number 179. She's still one of the most broken figures in the game to this day. All dupes in HP, attack of second 2, defense of second 2, and FHP, cure of HP 50L. Now, as you can see, this is a really monstrous setup. Let's test it really quick against Toba before we close out here. And these are my best go-to decks in the game for me personally. I'm going to go ahead and test out the other one too. By the way, if you're wondering why I have regular hair on Rubes here, as opposed to earlier, well, that's because I have some guy requesting how I build Violet specifically, and I can't really go into everything, including her skills and whatnot, without going into her, if I'm trying to not just go into her presets, I'm going to go into her equipment and everything too, which I suppose would be shown there. Anyway, I just thought it would be a lot easier to do it this way. But I'm going to be getting into that in the next bit after I get done here. I'm going to go ahead and skip too, just to speed this up. Now, if you look over at my character HP, basically nothing happened to me, to Goku or my master. And what's great about Goku is, as the match progresses, his trigger score makes him more powerful as the game goes on. Same thing with Frieza, pretty much. Although Frieza's more focused on weakening the opponent. He already has really good base attack as is when you fully dupe him out. Now, see, Topo has one of his own skills just like this. It's a really powerful skill. If you're running second setups, you should be running that, in my opinion. I'm actually legit curious to see how my other deck would fare against this fight. I think it'd be a bit more difficult. Gonna have to see. Honestly, I haven't tested it against this free battle yet. Pretty much my mentality with that deck anyway is I'm just trying to stall as long as possible until I can wipe the field with Trunks. You'll see what I mean, though, when we get into it. Look at that. Turn 2 with Frieza on the field, weakening him. And he already hit close to 6k. That's really good. Now, you might be wondering, why am I ignoring the Topo that's hitting my master directly? Well, there's a good reason for that. Because the longer I keep both Goku and Frieza on the field, the weaker that Topo is going to get as a whole. And when it becomes my turn to ult, all that damage he did to my master, it isn't going to matter. By the way, something else you can do if you aren't able to ult your opponent, and you're wanting to swap one or two very dangerous units on the field, you can do that with Toa. That's another reason why I have her duped entirely into attack, because, I mean, what's she gonna get out of the HP? Not much. Might as well have her be able to do something just in case. Look at that. Pretty much Goku's HP is all the way at full. Now I'm going to put down Toa. I'm going to lock him in place with 18. Now, this is really overkill. I probably don't even need to do this at all, but screw it. I want to do it anyway. Unfortunately, though, I outspeed. That's okay, though. Yeah, I'll go ahead and take it. I don't think he's used his, cure skill yet. I'm gonna go ahead and skip that. Look at that, like nothing happened. Because, of course, that's balanced. Now he's locked in place, and he's a sitting duck. Just to screw with him further, I can even do this. Hey, you know what? I'm going to. Why not? Now, I'm aware that I'm buffing him for this turn, but I don't care. I'm screwing with him for the hell of it. And I outspeed anyway. That right there is why I have her duped entirely into, I want to say she's duped entirely into attack. She has more than enough HP as is. And now that attack boost I was talking about earlier, Toa is going to be able to effortlessly get rid of Telpo at this point. Yeah, way more attack than I needed. Still, though, it helps to have that extra bit of damage. Now let's try going into that with a speedy setup. Where's Topo? There we go. This might blow up in my face, we'll have to see. I mean, at least I'm using the new ODU skills, so that should help to a degree. And to play it safe, because I want to make sure I'm dealing as much damage to this Topo as possible, I want to put down Gogeta, Videl, and Champa. I want to get rid of them right away if possible. And if not, that's fine, because Gogeta should be able to tank it anyway. And then I can just get rid of him turn 2. Your biggest threats in this fight are going to be Topo, Frieza, and DBS Broly. No chase attack. Oh well. Can at least get rid of Frieza while I'm at it. Get rid of that dumb and obnoxious speed and attack debuffer. Gonna skip that. Gogeta should be fine. Oh, never mind. That's okay though, because even with that happening, just throw it on Vegito. It's fine. Now, more often than not, Gogeta should be able to survive something like that. It's just, Topo's really jacked. Skip that, he's down. Yeah, look at that, I had nothing to worry about. I don't know what I was on about. Oh well. Wait, he goes in the middle. He only goes there. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put Cheeto down there. I don't care if anything happens to Champa, I just want to get rid of Bardock. Yep. More than enough. Probably could have kept it down the middle. Oh well. I think Chomp is going to be able to kill Gogeta here anyway. Yep, very easily. That went a lot better than I was expecting it to, but there you go. Those are my two preferred setups in Hero Colosseum. Hopefully this vid helped you out, and a few others, and I'll catch you guys next time with more Hero Colosseum content. I gotta do another request video here before I can go to bed. Till then, peace.